From beyond the storm-wracked seas, from a land forged in the fires of a broken world, they came, a force unknown, a power that whispers of ancient empires and iron-fisted rule. They are the Seanchan, and their arrival is not an invasion, it is a return. But what do they seek? What forgotten power drives them? And what will they claim in the name of their lost empire?
To understand the Seanchan, we need to go back in time, more than 1,000 years before Randalthor's birth on the slopes of Dragonmount. Back to the most powerful Taviran since Luthair, the High King Artur Hawkwing. He consolidated the kingdoms of the world and delivered a period of peace that lasted for decades, defeating false dragons and Trolloc invasions with an iron fist. His relationship with Aes Sedai soured after he provided military support for the White Tower, and rather than being grateful, the Amaryllis seat became angered. Artur Hawkwing was said to have hated the witches and placed a price upon the heads of Aes Sedai everywhere. Thus, the seeds of the Seanchan's brutal control of channelers was born in the bitter experiences of the High King himself.
The saga continues with Luthair Pendraic Mondwyn, son of Hawkwing, the man who dared to conquer a world beyond the horizon. Luthair walked in the shadow of his father, the great Artur Hawkwing. But where Hawkwing forged the empire from the ashes of a broken land, Luthair sought a realm beyond the knowing, a dominion untouched by the scars of the world's sundering. With 2,000 ships and hundreds of thousands of soldiers, he set sail upon the boundless Aryth Ocean. They call it a voyage of conquest, a quest for new lands. But whispers spoke of a darker purpose, a burning desire to escape the shadow of his father's legacy. When at last he set foot upon the shores of a new world, he did not come as a supplicant, but as a conqueror. He found a land ripe for the taking, a people ripe for dominion.
From the ravaged lands of his father, Luthair inherited more than just armies and power. He inherited a burning hatred. A hatred for the Aes Sedai, those wielders of the One Power who had turned against his father. When he landed ashore, he found channelers of the One Power. Unlike the disciplined Aes Sedai of his father's realm, these channelers were scattered and untamed, warring amongst themselves over seemingly petty issues. Where Artur Hawkwing faced the White Tower, Luthair Pendraic faced a disparate mob of factions. Luthair began to dominate this land with his invading military power, and was able to pit the factions against one another as he consolidated his power and control. Legend speaks of one such Aes Sedai, a woman of formidable skill named Deane. Like Elaine Trakand in the main story, she was skilled in the lost art of creating terangrial. Where others saw terror and destruction, Deane saw opportunity. Seeing Luthair's hatred of her kind, she made a choice. Toiling tirelessly, Deane created a seemingly simple device, a bracelet, connected by a silvery leash to a necklace. This beautiful device held a deadly secret. It allowed channelers to be completely controlled. It was a tool of subjugation, a weapon to bind the very essence of the One Power. They called it the Adan, a chain forged from terror and desperation. The Adan became the key to Luthair's dominion, a symbol of his absolute control. It allowed him to turn the channelers, once feared and revered, into Damane, living weapons, their power bent to his every command. He had not merely conquered a land, he had conquered the very source of their strength.
So this is the founding of the Seanchan. Once Luthair had conquered enough Aes Sedai, the tide turned in his favour and he quickly conquered the entire continent. Luthair created an empire of incredible loyalty and rigidity, where the Emperor's rule was absolute and any alternative views and challenges were ruthlessly quashed. Seanchan is ruled from the Crystal Throne, a terangrial seat of absolute authority the nexus of the Seanchan's power. Emperors and empresses have ruled through its heights for 1,000 years, their decrees shaping the fates of millions. Descendants of Luthair and his settlers are known as the Blood. These are the lifeblood of the Empire, the descendants of Hawkwing, their veins flowing with the legacy of conquest. Their rank is marked by the lacquering of their nails, a symbol of their lineage, a testament to their power. They scheme, they plot, they vie for influence. Their ambition of constant tide upon which their throne sits supreme. In a society so defined by rank and blood, is there any room for individual ambition? Are the fates of the Seanchan people sealed from birth?
The Seanchan Empire is a monument to our ambition and a testament to iron will. But its foundations are not only built on conquest or collared Aes Sedai, they are built on the backs of the broken, the sweat of the enslaved, the silent suffering of the Covale. From the moment Luthair set foot on these shores, his vision was clear: dominion. He saw not people, but resources, tools to forge his empire. Covale are slaves and often referred to as property. The word means one who is owned. Chief among them are the Damane. All women are tested for the ability to channel at a young age. Some are honoured with positions of authority and become Suldam, women tasked with training and controlling the Damane. But for the Damane themselves, they are stripped from their family records, their names forgotten. The Seanchan culture around Covale is in equal measure disgusting and fascinating. Covale generally take their status in society from their owner. Thus, many slaves enjoy positions of influence and power over free folk. For example, the Sojin, hereditary servants of the Blood. They are able to give commands to lower members of the Blood and other free folk, while remaining the property of their member of the Blood. Another group of Covale to bring to your attention is the Death Watch Guard. Created at the deathbed of Luthair Pendraig, these elite fighters are the personal property of the Emperor or Empress, and are executed upon his or her death. The Crystal Throne is supported by a secret police force known as the Seekers, who are also Covale. They seek out treasons and wrongdoings, and criminals are placed in the Tower of Ravens, located in the capital city of Shandor. Within their shadowed walls, secrets are whispered, plots are hatched, and destinies are woven. Nothing escapes their notice, no word goes unheard. They are the silent guardians of the Empress's will. So, why are the Seanchan invading Found? You see, when Luthair left on his conquest, he was next in line to the throne of the High King. He expected to get the call to return from his father, but this call never came. Whispers played in the ears of the aging Artur Hawkwing. Some say the same whispers that turned his heart away from the Aes Sedai. Friend against friend, kin against kin, Artur's final years dissolved in a complex web of alliances, just about held together by the great man. He died leaving no heirs, sending his kingdom into the 100 Years' War. No call came for Luthair, but he never forgot his heritage and vowed that his people would one day return to claim the kingdom that was rightfully theirs. So why didn't Luthair sail there himself to claim his throne? Perhaps his rule of Seanchan was not yet stable enough. Perhaps he was tired of conquering and warring. Thus began the Seanchan Empire, founded in blood and tears, ruled with an iron fist, and waiting for the day they claimed their birthright.
And what became of Deane, the Aes Sedai who created the Adar? Did her service, to be fair, gain her an advantage? I'm sorry to say, but far from currying favour with the Emperor. She was captured, collared, and turned into a Damane herself. It is said that her screams shook the Tower of Ravens itself. This tragic tale tells us a lot about the nature of power in the Seanchan Empire. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, no matter what service you bring to the Empire, your life is in service of one person, the Emperor or Empress. And woe betide anyone who gets in his or her way.